Hello, my friends, and welcome to part 3 of expressing the conditional. Today, we are going to learn about the type 1 conditional. My nickname for this conditional is the parent conditional, and in a moment, I will explain why. First, let's look at the verb tenses used in the type 1 conditional. The first part of the sentence will always be in the simple present. The next part of this sentence will be in the simple future. That means that often we will use will with this conditional. Next, let's look at the meaning of this conditional. If you use this conditional, the meaning is if one event happens or if one decision is made, another event will probably happen as a result. So it means if you make this decision, this will probably happen to you in the future. Let's look at an example. If you don't wear your coat outside in the winter, you will be cold, especially here in Montana. If you do not wear a coat, it is probable that you will be cold. This sentence is an example of the type 1 conditional. Next, let's look at the use. So we typically use this one only in the present or future, not in the past. So the grammar becomes more complicated when we talk about the past. So if you want to use this one, you are talking about present decisions and their future consequences. And these situations are always real and always possible. So we are not talking about imaginary situations, situations that will only happen here. No, the type 1 conditional can only be used for a present decision and then a reasonable future consequence of that decision. What are some tips for using this? Well, this conditional is used for stating possible, reasonable outcomes of real and possible decisions. So if you want to tell someone what you think will happen if they make a decision, you will use this conditional. And it's important because this is a very common use. This is a very common way that we express the conditional in everyday conversation. Okay, let's look at the construction of this conditional. So the first part of the sentence that occurs with if or when sometimes, this part is always in the simple present. The next part of the sentence is always in the simple future. And as I said, it's very common to have will. Now, let's look at my cat. My cat wants to climb the tree. She hasn't climbed the tree yet, but I can tell her, if my cat climbs the tree, she will get stuck. So she has not climbed the tree yet, but we can use this conditional to say, if she makes this decision, if my cat does in fact climb the tree, the probable outcome or result is that she will get stuck at the top. She cannot get down then if she climbs the tree. So she hasn't done it yet, but my thought, my guess is that if she does it, she probably will get stuck. Another name for this conditional is the future real conditional. And again, just to say it in a different way, this conditional states a probable outcome, and again, a probable and reasonable outcome of an action. Let's look at a few more examples. If you go outside without a coat, you'll get sick. I will be so angry if you do that. In this sentence, remember, sometimes we switch the parts of the sentence around. In this case, if is in the middle of a sentence, which means that the part with the future is at the beginning. And in this case, you do not need a comma. You can also switch it around, my friends. For example, you can say, if you do that, I will be so angry. So it's possible to keep them with if at the front, or it's possible to put if in the middle, but make sure that if stays with the present simple. If it doesn't rain tomorrow, we'll go to the beach. In this case, I am using a negative. If it doesn't rain tomorrow. If it does rain, we will not go to the beach. And finally, my friends, it's also possible to use when instead of if. If is much more common, but it's possible to use when, and the meaning slightly changes. I will work from home if it snows. I will work from home when it snows. If you use if, there is a little bit more doubt that it maybe will not happen. If you use when, it's more certain. And here in Montana, we probably will use when with this sentence because it will absolutely snow here in Montana. So both of those words are fine to use in this type of conditional sentence. My friends, remember, practice, practice. So I want you to write 3 sentences for me using the type 1 conditional. And remember, when you do this, you will have if plus the simple present as the first part of your conditional. And then the consequence will be in the simple future. If you don't go to sleep now, you will be very tired tomorrow. Okay, my friends, as always, please let me know if you have any questions. And remember, practice, practice, and never give up.